guys, before we get started with this video, I would just like to say if you're enjoying my content, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and give that notification bell a big ol' smack for me. It helps the channel out a lot. But anyway, hope you guys enjoy the video.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to another video. So, the title of this video probably caught a lot of people off guard. A defense for Pastriez Bakery? Dude, Barney, are you not the guy who has been, non-stop critical of Pastriez Bakery for, the longest time, and now you're turning around making a defense for them? You good, bro? Yeah, I'm good. Trust me, I'm fine. I haven't lost my marbles. Yet. But, I've been making these standing in avatars videos at Pastriez Bakery for well over a year now. It might even be a year and a half now. And these videos sometimes get Pastriez a little bit of heat, because, people go there and they're like, dude, this rule is so stupid. Why do you people care about someone standing or now walking in your virtual pixelated avatar? Are you people that sensitive? And, you've had these insane reactions and claims by some, very obviously delusional members of staff. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that, but just listen to some of these. I took some screenshots of what these people said and put it in my memes area in my Discord server. You had one admin claim that standing in avatars is inappropriate. You had another person claim that it is malicious to stand in an avatar. Of course, you get the ones where people say, oh, it just makes us uncomfortable. That's not quite as delusional. But the ones where they say, oh, it's malicious, it's inappropriate. Naturally, that is going to make, everybody else say, what? I'm gonna go to this game and troll now, because these people are just, that out there and crazy. So that naturally leads people to believe that every single person in the group is like this, right? That every single person, from the lowest rank to the top, are this crazy and delusional. But the thing is, they're not. They're not. But yet, they can't say anything. What? There's people inside Pastriez that agree with us that the standing in avatars rule is stupid? Well then, how come every time I talk to an admin or a worker or whatever about it, they almost always defend the rule? I think you're making this up, Barney. Nope, I'm not. And I'll tell you why these people exist and why you never hear from them, okay? I'm going to go ahead and make a fictional character here. His name is Billy, okay? He's been an LR for a few months now. He finally got promoted to being an MR, okay? I forget what the lowest MR rank there is, but let's just say that he just got to be an MR. He just got access to the confidential documents that go over all the protocols he has to follow and everything. So he's going through it, reading the protocols of the things he's got to do in certain situations, and then he gets to the section that goes over the standing in avatars policy. He takes a look at that and he's like, standing in avatars policy? What the heck is this? And then he reads it and it says that you are basically to give one single warning and then instantly ban someone if they try to stand in your avatar. So he looks at that and he says, that is weird. That is really weird. I just have to practically insta-ban someone just for standing in my avatar? But that doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me at all. But if that's the protocol I have to follow, I guess I don't really have a choice. It's really stupid though, but I guess I just gotta follow the protocol. There's probably several admins in the group that are this way, that don't care about avatars being stood in, but they just have to do it anyway, okay? They have to do it anyway. And if they try to not enforce the rule, they could get demoted. They could get demoted, okay? So fear of demotion is reason number one why the people that agree with us might stay silent or pretend they care. Is fear of demotion, okay? But there's another reason on top of that, okay? Peer pressure. Peer pressure is another one. Now, I'm sure if you went and tried to ask these games, oh, is there peer pressure in the management team or whatever, they're going to try to sit there and tell you no. But the fact is, peer pressure exists almost anywhere, alright? Now, of course, some places more than others, of course, But peer pressure is a very real thing. And obviously there are people inside Pastriez that are that sensitive and delusional. Because, I mean, look, did you just hear some of the claims that I just, read out from my memes folder? And the fact that this rule was put in place at all shows there's at least somebody at the top who's that delusional, right? So those people exist, and maybe there's certain admins that might not necessarily care about standing in avatars, but maybe they have a friend who does, right? So they don't want to lose out on their friendship with that person by, coming out and saying, hey, why do you care about, the standing in avatars thing? It's really not that big a deal. Because then, maybe they'll lose their friendship with that person, right? Another thing, on top of all of this, is even if they don't necessarily get demoted, because, if Pastriez wants to come out and say, oh, we would never demote an MR for simply not agreeing with the rule, or maybe not enforcing it, but, we would never demote someone just for saying that they don't like the rule, as long as they enforce it. If they want to sit here and say that, which, that's entirely possible, they're telling the truth on that, but even if they want to say that, if somebody expresses that they don't really agree with the rule, they'll enforce it, but they don't really agree with it, they could hurt their chances at a promotion. They could hurt their chances at a promotion, and let me explain why, okay? I want you to imagine a scenario, there's some HR, really high up there in the ranks who has the power to promote whoever they see fit, right? So they have two candidates that they're thinking about promoting, two MRs who have been admins for a while that they're thinking about promoting to the next rank up, okay? You have the person on the left, okay, who has pretty much done their job excellently. They got a good reputation with the community, and they have just basically been doing everything they are told to do. They've never spoken out about anything. They just do their jobs, and just do their jobs and do what they're supposed to do. And then you have the person on the right. This person does what they're supposed to do as well. They enforce the rules and all. Got a great reputation with the community. Does everything that the person on the left does. The only difference is they've expressed concerns about the rules. They've expressed that they don't really agree with some of the rules that are in the rule book. They might enforce them, but they've expressed that they don't really agree with them and think that they should be changed a bit. Okay? Which of the two admins do you think is more likely to be promoted between those two? Probably the one who just falls in line, shuts up, and just appears to agree with everything that is put in place. That is the one that is more likely to be promoted. Now, I'm not saying that the person on the right would never get promoted, but the chances are a person who just falls in line and at least appears to agree with everything and does exactly what they're told to do is more likely to get promoted than a person who expresses a disagreement with the rules. That is just what is going to happen. And I think a lot of these admins know that. And they are afraid to speak out against this rule if they disagree with it, because they don't want to hurt their chances at a promotion. Now, of course, trollers are going to probably say, well, why do they care, dude? It's just a virtual pixelated promotion. But you got to remember, promotions to them mean the world. That's why they're there. I don't care what they try to tell you. Like, if you run into an admin and or like an LR or whatever, and they say, oh, I'm just here for the fun. I'm here just to meet people. And that might be true, too. They might be there for the fun. They might be there to make friends and whatever, or something to kill time. But they all also want a promotion, okay? And if anyone in these groups tries to tell you otherwise, that they don't care about a promotion, they're lying, okay? They're lying. They all, to a certain extent, want a promotion. And chances are, they aren't going to do anything that is going to decrease their chances at getting a promotion. So if all they have to do is just kind of stay silent about the things they disagree with, and that's all they have to do to more likely get a promotion, they'll do that. They'll do that. They'll sit there and stay silent, alright? Now, I'm not necessarily saying that, like, they're wrong for doing that. Like, I think it's kind of unfortunate that they have to do that. But I'm not calling these people out and saying that they're, like, wrong for doing that. Because remember, like I said, I kind of understand where they're coming from, you know? I've said many times, I've been a part of groups like these before. Not cafe games, but more like military-type games. But it's the same thing. People in those games, they want a promotion too. So I understand the hustle. You know, like back when I was a member of these groups, if there was anything that would harm my chances of getting to the next rank up, I wouldn't do it. Are you kidding me? Now, why am I making this video, right? Like, okay, so there's some members of Pastriez that disagree with us, but they have to stay silent for the various reasons you've explained, Barney. So why are you telling us this? Well, it's so that when people go to Pastriez to troll and mess with the admins, I want you guys to remember that even if an admin tries to defend the rules, there's a chance that the admin you're talking to and giving crap to might literally agree with everything you are saying, okay? With everything. But they can't say anything. They just have to stay silent and act like they agree with the rule. Now, of course, there are admins who agree with it, like we described earlier. You know, the people that are just very out of touch with reality. You know, I mean, seriously, malicious and inappropriate. Like, yeah, those people exist too, all right? And, so you really don't know, you know? You really don't know if the admin you're talking to genuinely is that sensitive, or if they're just falling in line and doing what they're supposed to do for the reasons that we explained in this video. So I want you guys to keep that in mind next time you know, go in there to do whatever, okay? So try not to, like, you know, be too, like, aggressive with the admins is what I'm saying, because I feel bad for the people who, you know, literally agree with everything we're saying and yet still get the same amount of hate that, you know, everybody else gets. Not that I'm saying anyone deserves hate. Nobody deserves hate. But what I'm saying is, you know, the people who are just being delusional, yeah, I think they deserve to be told, hey, you're being overly sensitive. Like, that's not, I don't think that's being sent hate. That's just literally telling the truth. But for the people who aren't sensitive, they're just falling in line, I feel bad for them. I feel bad for them because they can't say a word. They can't say a word. So this video is a defense for them. So yeah, this video is basically being made to try to reduce the hate that Pastriez Bakery is getting, specifically toward the people I've described, you know? And I'm not even saying that the people who are that sensitive deserve hate either. But, you know, this video is a defense for the people who are silent. So yeah, hopefully you guys got the point on why some people might agree with everything, but just have to stay silent about it. So, yeah. Anyways, we can get back to normal trolling videos now, so that is what the next video will be. So thank you guys for watching this video, and of course, if Pastriez Bakery is watching, in fact, I know you are, I see you. I see you, okay? This video is not meant for hate purposes or bullying purposes. It is meant for informative purposes and for constructive criticism purposes. So, anyways, thank you guys for watching.